is the reason why the Senate exists, why this committee exists, to ensure that the money that we send to counties is accounted for. The Division of Revenue Bill was read a first time in the Senate yesterday. We will be reading it a second time today. Governors want us to send about 450 billion to counties, over and above the 391 billion the national government is proposing. But when Marsabit cannot account for 8 billion Kenya shillings, then it pulls the rug from our feet, because our friends in the National Assembly who have proposed 391 billion will ask us, why do you want us to send more money if 8 billion that was sent to Marsabit could not be accounted for? So it is not a light matter that we are dealing with here. We are talking actual cash that has come from the pockets of Mwananchi, sent to Marsabit, and the Auditor General says he has no idea how that money has been spent. Honorable members, if the governor gets away, he will probably come back next time with a similar set of documents, infuriate the committee, and he will get away, and it will be over and over, and will not be brought to account. I want to convince members, let us hold this governor to account today. He was a governor who was in office in that financial year. He must tell us where that 8 billion shillings is. If it is not stolen, then he must demonstrate where that money has been put for the benefit of the public. And I want to propose, members, that we will go issue by issue in our standard format. If we get to a point where we realize that the 6 reams of paper that have been brought here have just been brought to confuse and amaze and befuddle the committee, then as a chairman, I will terminate the proceedings, and we shall adjourn and set another date for a proper substantive committee hearing. So members, having listened to the various concerns, I want to propose that we go issue by issue. It might also be a good example for the team that has accompanied the governor to learn a few things on the expectation. Because some governors tell their staff that, don't worry, I'm going to deal with the Senate. Their fellow politicians, I'm going to talk to them. We want the staff that has come here to know that they also have a responsibility. If we agree on that, the first person that we must call to order is a professional who prepared these financial statements. Governor is Mr. Shale Ibrahim Shale, still in the county government.
Mr. Chairman, Ibrahim Shale Ibrahim is still in the county, but remember I said I took administrative action following even this report. So he's not in the core department of finance.
What department is he in?
Well, he's still in general in finance, but I have seconded him to
what is his title? What is his title?
His title is Director Revenue.
So the guy who does a financial statement with an adverse opinion, what you do is to send him to revenue.
Sorry?
Director Revenue. So you made him Director Revenue. After getting a diverse opinion on his financial statements.
Yes, because for now, I thought he will be able to handle that docket, but he was in the accounting department. He was the director accounting when this report was being made.
He's the one who prepared this report.
Yes.
And this report, the Auditor General says, falls far short of the professional expectation and professional standards. It is our position, and we have pronounced ourselves on this, that any member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, in this case Shale Ibrahim Shale, member number 11643, number 1, we are going to refer him to the professional body for disciplinary action. And number 2, we are likely to reach the conclusion that he is unfit to hold public office, because any accountant, any professional who cannot prepare a proper financial statement has no business being paid by public resources to continue stealing. Governor, I take note that perhaps you are also a member of a professional body as a quantity surveyor, and you know what you are bound to. The persons who are in HR, they know what they are bound to. That's a regulated profession. The persons in procurement, it's a regulated profession. You know what you're bound to. So I think even as we go into the report, it is our position that what you are calling an administrative action is a slap on the wrist. Ibrahim Shale, having prepared financial statements with an adverse opinion, must be disciplined by the professional body, and we also will take a motion to the House to declare him unfit to hold public office. With that, I want to ask the Auditor General, having agreed that we proceed, Auditor General, give us your opinion, explain that opinion, and then go to the basis of the opinion.
Thank you, Chair. On the report of the Auditor General on County Executive of Marsabit for the year ended 30th June 2021, the County Executive was given an adverse opinion, which is given when the financial statements prepared do not agree with the underlying records. They're completely different. The underlying books of accounts and the records available, there's no agreement. That's when we give that adverse opinion.
And that was a question mark on how much money money did Marsabit receive, so that it does not sound like the chairman is cooking up numbers. What was the total receipts for that financial year? In the statement of receipts and payments?
Yes. Chair, the total received in the Exchequer for the 2020-2021 was 7,355,536,600 shillings. Chair.
Total gross receipts?
Gross. Gross receipts, Chair, was 8,224,789,009 shillings, Chair.
So you could not confirm whether the entire amount, 8 billion, was used in line with the law?
Yes, Chair.
What is the implication of an adverse opinion? And we have seen this with other counties. There is a conditional grant called Kenya Devolution Support Program. How much money did Marsabit get in this financial year? Kenya Devolution Support Program. Governor, can you tell us how much you got as KDSP in the 2020-2021 financial year?
We have, if you allow, Chairman, we can refer and check the...
It's in your financial statements. I'm seeing it. I just want you to read it.
Okay. It's being checked, Mr. Chairman.
It's in the notes to the financial statements, note number 2 on page 31 of the financial statements.
Where is it? KDSP. Yeah, 161 million, Mr. Chairman.
161 million?
Yeah.
524,000?
Yeah.
635?
Yeah.
Now, can you continue getting this money if you have an adverse opinion from your knowledge of that conditional grant?
No, Mr. Chairman.
So it means that this opinion has led to the loss of 161 million to the people of Marsabit.
Still, Mr. Chairman, in that particular year, we had that problem, and I told you I've taken action. But by the way,
Governor, we are just laying facts, because we must establish a link between this opinion and the money that comes to Marsabit. Is it a fact that with an adverse opinion, you would not continue getting the 161 million?
Correct.
And you see, that's why I didn't want to make any decisions in camera, because I want your officers to know that whenever they make errors of omission or commission, they are not just breaching the law, but they are also costing the people of Marsabit money. If you had 161 million, Governor, wouldn't you do a lot of things with that?
Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Chairman, but kindly if you can hear me out also. Because there's something that I needed to explain. In that particular year, we had that problem. But please note, even before, it was as a result of improvement by our team that we qualified to get that 161 million, right? But unfortunately, in this particular year, as you rightly observed, something has happened. And I've said, I've taken some action.
I was waiting for your explanation. I'm still not getting...
No, I'm trying to tell you...
Because the fact is, you lost 161 million because of opinion.
I'm only trying to say it is true, but we made effort previously. We had, and when we came in as a county, we gradually, the way the auditor has been saying, we've been gradually improving in this department. The 161 you have noted was as a result of improvement over the previous system, or rather accounting procedure that we did.
So when you lose it, it should not be an issue.
It is a big issue, and that is why I took administrative action.
Remember, this is not free money. This is money that adds to the national debt stock. These conditional grants, you think it's free money coming from donors. That money is guaranteed by Treasury. Kenyans are repaying it. So I think we must illustrate the link between the audit opinion and loss of money. And I think going forward, we must also build a relationship between these opinions and the amount of money that county governments are getting. I do not think that Marsabit with an adverse opinion should get the same ratio and share as another county with an unqualified opinion.
Chair, I've heard the governor say there are some improvements. Are you on that program now?
Which program?
The KDSP.
KDSP has... Yeah, I think that one has been concluded, but there is another phase of the same.
Are you going to qualify for that next phase?
Next phase. Remember, this is 2021.
I know exactly which year we are talking about. I'm asking you about now, because you have spoken about the improvements you have made.
Yeah, improvement was made. Remember, I'm talking about what we have been progressively able to do. The time we got this 161, the years before, the situation was worse. And therefore, when our records show that we've made some improvements, that is when we got this 161.
Then where did the improvement stop? Because you got now an adverse opinion.
It is what we are addressing now, and if you listen to my answers to the auditor, some of them you will appreciate, Mr. Chairman.
You know, the objective of KDSP is to build capacity, and it's to build the capacity of your staff. In fact, it's almost a blank check for the county executive to define areas where there are gaps. And so when you absorb 161 million of KDSP, it should translate into improved capacity, improved efficiency, greater transparency, rather than the reverse. But I think we have made that illustration, or the link between the opinion to the money that the people of Marsabit would have gotten. We'll go to the basis of the opinion, but I'll ask Senator Cherargei to make his comment.
Just on adverse opinion, you know, in private sector, when you get adverse opinion, you are supposed to be fired. I think in government agencies, when you get adverse opinion, you are rewarded. Who is this chief officer who did not have his PAC number? Where is he? Did the contract ended Wario Jirmo Arsama, number one governor, and number two, this one on Wario Jirmo Arsama. Who is he and where is he? Number one. Number two, you can be noting down so that it is easy for you to follow up. Number two is on this adverse opinion, the financial statements we have seen. In fact, before we go to another question, there is basis for adverse opinion. You are saying there is improvement, Governor, and that loss of Kenya Devolution Support Program of 161 million because of these issues of accounting. When you say you are improving, are you admitting there were capacity issues in terms of that department that was supposed to do their job? Because, and then in your answer, if you are admitting the capacity challenges and there is improvement, can you provide the committee with that either through the County Public Service Board to show us if there was an accountant missing or you have hired another one, or people who do not have his pack, people who are professionals are there now, so that when we are receiving your mitigating answers and basis for adverse opinion, we can understand you. Chair, that is my 3 questions.
Okay, Governor, please make very brief responses if you wish us to proceed as you had stated earlier.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the issue Senator is referring to about improvement, I'm talking about over a period of years, how we got the 161 in the first place. We improved from, we had an adverse again in 2016, 2017. In 2018, 2019, we improved to an extent that we were given this opportunity to get that 161. That is what I meant. On this particular issue of 2021, of course, I have observed there was underperformance from the team, and I said I have taken administrative action, changed the office holders, and that is why the team before you today, most of them were or are not the ones who did this report at that time. Sorry, I lost the third.
Where is, when you say there is change, you know, Governor, I've heard you saying we have taken administrative action. Would you provide the evidence of the same?
What I mean, yeah.
Number one, on whether you can provide evidence of administrative action. And then finally, this gentleman, Wario Jirma Asa, where is he?
Wario is here as Director of Budget, but that time he was the
Chief Officer.
He was acting Chief Officer.
But he has not indicated here. And you know the limitations of acting under the law.
Yeah.
When you are not substantively in office, you cannot make some decisions. So if he was acting and he ensured he will get adverse opinion, and you rewarded him as Director of Budget because of a very serious position, then that is not administrative action. It is administrative action on the opposite direction.
Yeah,
because how do you reward somebody who has performed badly? I thought he should even have been suspended, go through disciplinary procedures, because it's just a slap on the wrist, Chair. So this Director of Budget who was acting then, if in fact the Governor, to be honest, because we want Kenyans to appreciate the role of devolution, and that is why you hear some people in some quarters saying we do away with devolution, because these are some of the things people are comfortable with. For example, this gentleman was acting. He went ahead and gave you adverse opinion. This should have been a reason why he should not be in the position he is now, because Director of Budget, he might ensure that there is under-absorption or budget is not properly prepared. What will you use? And you already have budget. So, Chair, I think this administrative action by the Governor, we must see it as a committee so that we understand what he means by saying administrative action. I think that would be a proper way to handle it. And give us evidence and how what we have done in this administrative action to Shale, Ibrahim Shale. Of course, we have recommended him to the necessary professional body. Even as here, we have our own professional body. If you do a misconduct, LSK will take action against you, and they can withdraw your license.
Yeah, so as we proceed, I'm sure that we'll find cases where there are officers or players in the county that might require sanction, and I think we'll deal with those on a case-by-case basis. For those who are members of regulated professions, remember those professions are established by acts of parliament. The regulations for those professions are established by acts of parliament. We are parliament. We have the power to make reference to those societies to take disciplinary action. So we'll deal with members of regulated professions, the accountants, the procurement, the HR, but the other officers, we will call upon the Governor CEO to take measures that are proportional to the offences that they are alleged to have committed. Members, let's go to the report of the Auditor General. Let's now go to the basis of the adverse opinion, starting with issue number 1.1, variance between cash book and financial statements balances. Auditor General, you read your finding. Governor, you will respond.
Thank you, Chair. The basis for adverse opinion, cash and cash equivalents, paragraph 1.1, variance between cash book and financial statements balances. The statement of assets and liabilities, and as disclosed in note 21A to the financial statements, reflects 834,498 shillings in respect to cash and cash equivalents. Included in this amount are balances totaling 58,922,818 shillings relating to 7 bank accounts, which differ with their respective total cash book balances, resulting to an unexplained and unreconciled variance of 9,796,792 shillings. Under the circumstances, the cash and cash equivalence balance of 834,000,498 as at 30th June 2021 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, please read your response in verbatim.
The management, Mr. Chairman, has reviewed the report and established that the updated cash books and bank reconciliation statements, which agrees with the reported balances in our financial statements for Marsabit Municipal Revenue Account, Marsabit County Operation Account, Marsabit County Local Revenue Account, and Food and Agriculture Organization Project Account are as attached. The variances noted in Marsabit District Health Account, Free Maternity Healthcare Services Account, Moyale Sub-County Health Account, Moyale Sub-County Referral Hospital were as a result of reconciling items. The reconciliation has been done and disclosure on reconciling items made. Mr. Chairman, refer to Appendix 1.1.
Now, Auditor General, you said 7 bank accounts. Are those 7 bank accounts named? Because as where we sit, you have mentioned 7 bank accounts. We don't know which bank accounts they are. It's a governor who's attempting to mention, and he's mentioned more than 10 accounts. So, because what we expect to see, Governor, and you will need to listen, 7 bank accounts were cited. And there are variances between the balances, cash book balances, and bank account balances. So over and above this full big ream of paper, what you need to do to the Senate is list the 7 accounts. This is a cash book balance. This is a bank balance. This is the difference. And this is how it was reconciled. So I hope you are able to demonstrate that in your appendix, 1.1.
Chair, I want the governor to confirm to me, in your answer you have said the reconciliation has been done and disclosure of reconciling items made. When was the reconciliation done?
Oh, okay, maybe take the questions, just take note. I started by saying what would have helped the committee, and that's why I wanted us to go through this process, so that even if you are to come back to the Senate again, you know how to present your evidence to the Senate. Yeah, so when was the reconciliation done? I'm asking for just a summation or a listing of the 7 accounts, the cash book balances, the bank account balances, the variances, and the action taken to close the variances, without going through 100 pages of paper. Senator Chirake?
Chair, just a quick follow-up. This could not be confirmed. Governor, I expected in your answer you should have confirmed this 834,000,498. Your answer does not come out. And then number 2, Auditor and Governor, the process of opening these 7 bank accounts under the PMF Act is very specific. I can see there is KCB Bank Limited. On these 7, as the chairs, Governor, can you name these 7 bank accounts and tell us whether the process of opening as the PMF Act has been followed? Because we have counties where people open commercial bank accounts, maybe to get interest or put a fixed deposit account and earn interest. In some of the banks, like I can see KCB Bank among others. So, Governor, can you name this bank account? And if possible, because they are saying 58 million 922,818 relating to 7 bank accounts. And these 7 bank accounts I've had, there is one for the hospital, among others, Marsabit Municipal Revenue Account, among others. And give us the justification as to why there is existence of 7 bank accounts. Because if we allow you to have 7 bank accounts, you can have 50 tomorrow, and it contravenes the public finance management, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, before Governor responds, Auditor, first tell us what were the 7 bank accounts that you cited?
Chair, the 7 bank accounts are Kenya Commercial Bank for Local Revenue Marsabit Branch, account number 1140751484, and the balance at 30th June 2021 was 48,841,439.
And
The second,
that was a balance on account, or that was a cash book balance, as per their records?
that was
Is that credit?
the balance they were giving as per the financial statement.
As per the financial
Meshach, is that a credit?
Eh? Yes,
for
it's
48
credit.
million.
Okay.
Okay,
Credit.
so just on that, so that first account of KCB Marsabit, where in these supporting documents have you demonstrated that KCB Marsabit?
In
That-
fact, Chair,
that
I
had
was
48 million.
coming to that. That is why I was asking the governor to tell us when this reconciliation was done.
Because it will be easy if you just demonstrate to us that KCB Marsabit, this was a balance 48 million, it was reconciled, and go to page XYZ, that's where the
Chair,
evidence is.
I can help him. The document is not paginated.
He might
but
accuse you of introducing your own evidence.
It's this one, Chair.
Allow him to allow him to be the one to point us there. Governor?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's start with that first account, and maybe out of the 7, we can just do a sample of 3. No, we said we start with that one. We first see how that was treated.
This one.
We pick another one. So if you do a sample of 3 or 4, then we can now ask for the Auditor General's opinion.
Chair, writing also, if you go to 43, financial statement, financial statement 43, page 43. The account cash and cash balances, that is 21A, not 21A. Maybe we can, the auditor can highlight so that we can, it will be easy for us on that one. Because one of the one is saying 48 million balances is among the list.
Okay. Yeah. Kenya Commercial Bank Local Revenue Marsabit branch account. Yeah, I think we can see it on page 44. So, Governor, just help us understand how you dealt with that query by the Auditor General with respect to that first KCB local revenue account.
Mr. Chairman, if you see the annex under reference, page 6, what is it? Yeah. Appendix 1.1, after the first 5 copies, the 6th one, you will see bank reconciliation, Marsabit County KCB revenue collection account.
Just go slowly. Which page? And I think next time let your officers paginate every single annexure.
That is noted, Mr. Chairman. The seventh paper. The annexures.
I thought the 7th is reading payments.
Bank reconciliation. The next, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That is where the reconciliation has been done and is demonstrated, Mr. Chairman.
The Auditor General says that the balances relating to this account differs with the respective cash book balance. Auditor, just make it easy for us. You know, when we hear cash, we know this is money, the money that senators appropriated. My understanding is that in one record, you got 48 million. And in another record, you've got a different figure. So what was the cash book balance for this particular account? Is the 48 the cash book balance, or 48 is the actual reconciled balance?
Chair, the figure that you are reflecting was the cash book balance.
So there was a variance between the cash book balance and what other balance? Well, if you say there's a variance, you are comparing two sets of records. So on one hand, you've got the cash book balance. What is the other balance that you're comparing with?
Is it the bank balance?
The bank balance, yeah.
That is the bank balance.
Yes.
So this 48, is it the bank balance or this is the cash book balance?
The cash book balance.
Could you just explain the difference between the two for our appreciation?
Yeah, usually the bank balance should be reconciled with the cash book balance so that we are able to see what other transactions are reflected in the cash book balance that are not in the bank statement, or what other unique transactions were effected through the banks but were not reflected in the cash book. Usually that's what causes differences between the two balances.
So can you resolve this without a certificate from the bank of the balance as at that time on this account?
Usually after a short period of time, if there were some unpresented or uncredited checks, they are presented, they are credited, and they...
I think you have not understood the chair's question.
Yes.
But the short answer is no. The problem here is that they did not give you a certificate at the time of audit from the bank confirming the bank balance. So if you look at the bank certificate of balance that has been presented by the governor,
yes,
you will see it has a date.
Okay.
It has a date of 15th March 2024, which is last week. That is when they were doing the reconciliation.
Yes, Chair. At the time of audit, that was the position.
So this reconciliation was being done with this meeting in mind. That is the same problem that I wanted us to go back to, Governor. The statement of bank certificate of balance from this account from KCB, I'm looking at it now. It is dated 15th of March 2024. That is last week. When is today? Huh? Today is 28th. So, Governor, you are doing this reconciliation or providing documents or sourcing documents
No,
for
sorry.
purposes of this meeting?
No, with all due respect, Senator, even if it's dated recently, the bank balance doesn't change. It can be checked. The balance we're talking about is for that time.
I understand that. I'm saying, when did you get this certificate of balance? It has a date there. This is your own document.
Yeah. I'll consult I'll ask one of my teams to answer that.
Okay, so as he finds it, you will see another certificate of balance. I think when we'll get to that, you will read the dates for us. This is why I was asking you, when were you doing this reconciliation, Governor?
Reconciliation was done immediately after the audit.
But that is not possible, given the documents you have placed before us.
Chair.
Okay.
Maybe to reinforce what Senator
Senator Acharaga.
That's why we will say we used tooth and comb to look at your documents. Some of them was reconciled 11 January 2022. So the question that Senator Sifuna asked, how often do you do bank reconciliation? And Governor, if you go to my other question, do you have capacity challenges? Because this is just pure capacity, because if you should know when to do reconciliation, because document, this one is KCB, it is 11 January 2022. I thought the auditor at that time, the audit period under, which is extended up to November, the next financial, has been complete.
Yes, Chair.
Is it so?
Yes.
So, Governor, why would you introduce a strange document in the year under review? Unless this one is in the wrong place, because, and that is why we're asking, when do you do bank reconciliations, as has been requested by Senator Sifuna? Another one is, this one is another document, is also 11 January 2022. Another one, Chair, interesting, is 15 March 2024. When the governor realized he was coming to the Senate, he decided to go back and get another certificate of balance. Very interesting. Another one is 15 March 2024. And it is good, I'm seated to a very good gentleman who is the area senator, and he can confirm that what I'm seeing is what I'm saying. So that is why, Chair, I always insisted that we need to give chance to the client to clean up his own documentation.
I think
it doesn't make sense.
It's important to point out to them the problems we have here. Because if we just tell them, no, we are not dealing, they'll probably not be able to see what the problems are.
Yes.
And I think this then must be taken as a constructive exercise,
Yes.
where even you are learning.
Yes.
But it should also not amount to the Senate acting in vain.
Correct.
The Senate cannot act in vain. Parliament can never act in vain.
Chair,
Now,
maybe it's a final observation. Some of this documentation on Annex Point 1.1 is not even owned, because they will tell you there must be a stamp saying certificate of the original copy.
Yeah,
Where the originals, Governor?
So there are all those things. There's, certification of the trueness of the copy, the pagination. Those are things that must improve when we do our future engagements. But Auditor General, you raised this matter, and it was part of the basis for the adverse opinion. On this KCB account, where 48 million is involved, I can see that takes, you cited 58 million, so 48 was in one account, KCB. Which was the other account with a big amount? Because also in your finding, it would have been useful for you to do a table listing the 7 accounts with the balance, the 2 balances that were not tallying.
If you look at that page 44,
which is the next big account?
if you look at that page 44 of the financial statements,
Yes.
the first one is that KCB 48 million. The second one again is the following KCB 9,451.
Let's look at material ones.
Then skip. You only need.
What about the cooperative bank above it? That one is not a problem?
No, it
Okay.
starts from the 48 million, then you go to the 9,000, skip the 22, then the rest are part of the 7.
So the Equity Bank Marsabit municipal revenue account, is that part of it?
Yes,
So then let's see how that has been addressed. Maybe just take the 2 samples, because 48 plus 8, that is already 56. So if the 2 are addressed, then it can guide us. So Governor, could you just confirm how you could reconcile the variance between cash book and bank balances for Equity Bank Marsabit?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the copy before me, if you have the same one, dated 14th January, balances.
Sorry,
The certificate.
I missed you there. Just come again, Governor.
I was referring you to the one from Equity, the page just before the one we were addressing.
Is this the one dated 14th January 2022?
Yes, yes. And I was saying, Mr. Chairman, as rightly observed, the dates were recent, but I want to state that they don't change the balances as at the time when it was required.
We know that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Governor, allow us to be with you on the same page.
Yeah,
It is after the Marsabit County KCB revenue account?
before.
Before,
Actually, when you look, when you get annexed 1.1 variance between the cash book and the financial, the first page.
okay.
This one.
Okay, so what's the story there?
That is the bank balance certificates.
8.056.
Yes.
which the Auditor General says there's a variance between it and the cash book.
Chair, but the statement is not certified. They are only signatures. I thought when you obtain a thing, it must be certified. Hey, Auditor General, what is happening?
Auditor,
It's not certified.
what is your expectation on that?
That document.
On that, let's start first from the balances, then we go to the whether that document is even proper.
Chair, and that is why I insist, Chair, as they look at it, you know, as they look at it, as they look at it, Chair, you can understand why we are struggling through the documentation.
I don't think it is us struggling, Chair.
So personally, I'm struggling with the documentation because it is not the legitimate expectation on how we do things here.
Where I agree with Senator Cherargei to the extent that these are things that ought to have been covered during the audit. And to convert senators to be scrutinizing bank certificates and cash book entries is to reduce us to accountants and very junior accountants. So what we are doing here is really not what should be done at the Senate. And I think we are going to have a very painful exercise. We are going to extract teeth without anesthesia today, so that you can understand what is expected of you. And if we have another round, then those expectations must be met. So Auditor, you must help us. You raised this, made it a basis for the adverse opinion. How has that equity Marsabit account been treated, and what makes you satisfied that now the variances have been reconciled? Just demonstrate that to us.
Thank you, Chair. First, as regards this balance that has been raised by the Honorable Member, Senator, usually we confirm bank balances directly, although this one we didn't have enough time to confirm it directly, so we just took it at its face value. That's one.
Point of order, Chair.
Meshach, you are taking us into a very dangerous
I don't feel comfortable sitting here anymore.
Yes.
How can you accept a document and which you not verified, and you're saying you just accepted it at face value?
No, I'm saying usually we confirm bank balances of clients.
Did you confirm that
the
one?
Bank.
Did you confirm that one?
This one, no.
Thank you. The story ends there.
Chair, that is what I've been saying all
That's what
along.
we are talking about.
I think the OG has a power under the law, isn't it? Patrick, does
So how can we know the authenticity?
There's power under the law,
Yes.
but we don't usually go to the bank for all of them.
Yes.
And that is why
Only
Chair
for
was
some
saying this
that we
document
find suspicious.
is failing short of authenticity. It is not
Order
authenticated.
senators.
Chair, it will not change that the OAG did not confirm this document with a bank.
As I would have expected, out of the 7 accounts, we have demonstrated that only 2 had the big amounts. There was a KCB with 48 and Equity with about 8. So the least we could have done was to independently
Look at the big
get those certificates, so that we don't have these questions of credibility of what is before us. In fact, when you go further to the bank reconciliation, purported bank reconciliation for that equity account, the date there is 18th of December 2023. The 18th December.
What is the fate of this document that has 8 million, yet it cannot be owned or verified? Should we strike out because it has not been confirmed?
I think
You know, our hands are tied, and that is why, Chair, if this document has not been verified, in our report we will not quote it, and it will affect negatively to the responses of the client. Because
So Senator Cherargei, we have three options. I'm seeing 3 scenarios now unfolding. Scenario number 1 is for the Senate to attempt to look at these records supporting annexures and convert ourselves to junior accountants, which is a scenario which is untenable. Scenario number 2 is to ask the Auditor General to go back and confirm the authenticity of what has been presented, for example, like in this case. Scenario number 3 is just to call for a forensic audit of Marsabit County for the financial year that is under question, because it might appear as if the 8 billion cannot be accounted for. So a forensic audit is usually conducted with a view to prosecution. Those are the 3 scenarios that we have. I don't think we have any other.
And Chair, that is why I would have expected the governor to take the second option, which is more fair. Because if we order forensic audit with a view of prosecution, it will be a different animal altogether. And that is why, if the authenticity of this document is in question, we should have given time OAG to go and cross-check with the entity, which is the bank, then give us the correct position. Because 8 billion is not small money. I know it's small money to some people, but to great people of Marsabit, it's serious money that can transform a lot of livelihoods there. So, Chair, with this document, and I know, Governor, I don't know, because this is the end of, Governor, through the chair,
yes,
maybe, would you be comfortable, because this document is not authentic, we strike it off, which will affect your answer and will affect our final report, which is through the speaker.
Point of order, Chair.
Just so that I finish.
I don't think we have capacity sitting here to determine a document being authentic or inauthentic. I think the problems we are facing, Governor, and this is what we started with, is that these documents have been generated for this meeting. And therefore, there has not been opportunity for the Auditor General to independently verify them. And the point that Cherargei is raising is that you need to certify documents. If you make copies of documents, you certify them. You don't say the originals are there. Yes, the originals might be there, but the copies you present before a House of Record should be certified. So this is the problem we had anticipated we would run into. But you yourself have said you're comfortable going on with this exercise, which I also agree with. Let us find out where the problem is so that lessons can be taught, as the chair has said.
No, Chairman, but I didn't complete my argument. Of course, I agreed largely with Senator Sifuna, which I rarely do. But my point is very simple, Governor, and that is why we gave you an option which you didn't see it. Now, when we close this audit query, and that is why Chair was talking about double jeopardy, it will mean your answer will be less this document, which means when we'll do our report writing, it will affect the recommendations of the committee. Because this document is not authentic, because it has not been verified by the Auditor General. And that is why myself, I was cautious with the proceeding of this meeting. Because as Senator Sifuna said, we were expecting to run into turbulence. We were approaching Meru, and we were saying there are turbulence ahead as per the projection as the pilot is going to Marsabit. So, Chair, we are now in the turbulence. Should we put autopilot? Should we fly back? Or should we crash land? Thank you, Chair.
Chair.
We must fly. Senator Maria Mumar.
Chair, as much as also we blame Governor, there is also, I have a concern with OG. Because in question 1, which is a variance of between cash book and financial statement, or 7 accounts, differ from the respective total cash balances. And if you go to the receipts, cash books, and the certificates, if they can give us what are the variance between the two, is when we can clearly go to the supporting document. Because supporting document is showing the cash book is the same as and the certificate. So here, the audit query is not even guiding us anywhere.
Each differ. Yeah. So I think there's a matter that OAG must confirm, and particularly because it's important to be specific on the accounts. I've been trying to be very specific on 2 accounts, which if you can deal with, I don't think we'd have a problem with the other 5 accounts. The second account is this equity account, where you have seen a certificate of balance, assuming it was authentic. Assuming. I'm not saying it is, but assuming it was authentic.
Actually, it is.
Assuming, because the Auditor General will have to confirm that. Look at the bank reconciliation that follows. Senator Sifuna says things are being done with this meeting in mind. A bank reconciliation for 30th June 2021. What is the legitimate expectation on when it should be done? This was done on 18th December 2023. Auditor General, what is the expectation?
Chair, it should be done within the first week of July after that 30th of June.
So it ideally, even if it delayed,
yes,
even if it was a correcting
yes,
a reconciliation,
yes,
it should have been July 2021.
Yeah, because by that time most of the transactions have reflected on both the cash book and the bank statement.
But this was done on 18th of December 2023. That's 2 years later. Governor, what would be the explanation for that?
Mr. Chairman, we talked about this earlier, and it was regrettable that it delayed. However, what I insist is that the facts and material content of this matter does not change. And I don't have any objection the way Senator is implying that the auditors can confirm again if they have not confirmed. Mr. Chairman, 75% of the queries have been discussed and really agreed with the auditors and my team. So, and that's what we are saying. The facts and the material content of this matter can be confirmed, and I stand by them. The delay, I have said, I apologize.
Governor, if they had agreed at the time of audit, we would not be having this conversation.
Yes.
And that's why the Constitution has deemed it fit that these reports come to Parliament.
Correct.
Because some agreements can also be agreements that have been managed.
Yeah.
So you must have an independent eye. Mm-hmm. What we're just asking you to do is to convince us that what the Auditor General raised has been fixed and fixed within the law.
Correct.
From the first issue you have dealt with, I, as a chair of this committee, I am not satisfied that variance and that inconsistency that has been cited has been addressed. In my mind, I still believe that we have an adverse opinion. The opinion is not going to change, but my thoughts about this is that this reconciliation, I agree with Senator Sifuna, part of it was done to satisfy the Senate rather than to make sure that books are well kept. And when you do things to satisfy the Senate, then you can end up with fabrication of records. Senator Onyoka.
Governor, I completely have utmost respect for you because you've been my colleague. We worked together in the coalition government. My history with you is very fresh in my mind. What I want to say, and I please want to beg you, you have to allow us adjourn this thing. I am not comfortable with what I'm being told and what I am seeing. I am completely unhappy with the Auditor General has done, and I shouldn't express my opinion. You cannot deliver documents to them when I'm asking him here, can you verify that the document you have is actually a true copy of the original? He doesn't. According to me, it humiliates my excellence and my performance and my responsibility as somebody who's supposed to oversight you. So my position is I am actually asking my chair to stop any further engagement with you until these things are sorted out.
Yeah, on something else. Just on something else.
Okay, Senator, okay.
Governor, what we are saying is we are not saying the issue of account, this amount or everything. What we are looking about is a procedure and authenticity. The standard procedure is that this document, the Auditor General must go and look at it. That's what we are just saying. We don't have a problem with your answer. Your answer could be correct, but it should be authenticated and verified. That is a standard procedure of any document. And that is why, if this committee or in any forum we used to allow photocopies, it would not make sense. That is why even if you do a photocopy, it must be verified or authenticated through stamping or by signature, even superimposing that document, Chair. So I agree, but Chair, if we have to proceed, then we strike out this document. And when the governor comes for other part of the audit, we will not go back to this question. We write our report without this document.
You know, Senator Sifuna has just whispered something to me here. In this query, if the certificates were provided at the time of audit and authenticated, would we have a problem? OIG?
Chair, we would not.
We would not have a problem. So to solve it was just presentation of the certificates.
Yeah, and the bank reconciliation statement.
The bank reconciliation.
Yes.
But we are in a situation where we have certificates here, but the Auditor General cannot confirm their authenticity. Are you able to confirm the authenticity of the certificates that are before us?
Chair, we can write to the bank to confirm.
No, what we have, are you able to do it now?
Now, not
On
yet.
the basis of the records before us?
We've not yet. There was no time.
Then definitely this matter remains unresolved. And members, I know there is frustration. Perhaps this is the messiest situation I find myself in as a chair, where we are not agreeing 100% with the OAG. And for the comfort of Senator Cherargei, I want us to attempt issue number 2, because issue number 1 is unresolved until the Auditor General is able to authenticate those certificates. We still maintain that those variances, which then point to loss of funds, remain.
Mr. Chairman, with due respect, kindly allow me this.
Governor?
Yeah, I was saying, I'm a bit surprised because my team briefed me that this issue actually indeed had been resolved with the auditors. That is the brief I have from my team. So I'm shocked when the auditors are saying they cannot confirm now.
You see, when you come to the Senate, there are questions the Senate asks, which sometimes the auditor may not have asked at that point. You are presented the auditor with a bank certificate, and they trust that it is authentic. The Senate is insisting that it has to be authenticated. And I think that is a fair, that is a very fair directive from the Senate. Because even you, if your employee brought to you a bank account statement without a proper, authorization, you cannot trust it.
Then in that case, Chairman, why don't you follow what Senator Cherargei has suggested? Because if what the teams have said they have resolved, then we come here, then it is not resolved again.
Governor, I know you are used to giving directives in the county. Today I'm the chair.
I agree, and I respect the chairman.
I will give the directives.
All right, Chair.
You had pleaded that we proceed. I granted you that favor. I'm not going to allow you to direct the committee again.
Chair, let me,
Senator Chute,
with your permission, let me make one request. You remember I asked the governor if he's comfortable to proceed.
Yes.
And I'm still very uncomfortable. Can you kindly, please, adjourn this meeting? Kindly, please.
Because Chair, even Chair, we are using time here. Then it is like rocking a chair. If we continue, it will mean when we meet again, we'll go back because this issue remains unresolved. That is the effect of before Sifuna comes on board. Let me just finish.
And
this issue 1.1 remains, Chair, unresolved. So which means when we meet, we'll have again to reopen.
Chair, I think the problem emanates from AOG. This is their problem. Yes. Yes, this is not the governor's problem.
No.
We cannot allow Senator Chute.
No. I'm
going to order, Chair.
OAG is part of this committee.
Allow Senator Chute to express himself. We'll guide him accordingly.
Yes, you see, what the AOG is saying is he has not found time to agree on his documents, isn't it? That's what he's saying. So whose blame is this now?
But you are saying that maybe OAG does not have enough resources.
I think to be fair to OAG, we have asked questions which perhaps OAG did not ask at that point.
Point of order, Chair.
Senator Sifuna?
Chair, we will go back to the initial conversation we had with the governor. You cannot blame the AOG for not finding time to go through and authenticate all these documents when they were served on him last week for purposes of this meeting. That's what I'm telling you, Senator Chute. If you look at the governor's own documents, the bank reconciliations, the certificates of bank balance that he has annexed to answer the query are from last week. They came from the bank on 15th of March 2024. So if the Auditor General's role was, after he received this document, he needed to go through all of them and discovers that he needs to call KCB in Marsabit to authenticate this document, you cannot then blame the Auditor General. This is an exercise that should have been concluded in 2021. This bank, KCB Marsabit, was in existence in Marsabit in 2021. They would have very easily gotten this document immediately. They saw issue number 1 is unreconciled bank balances. So you cannot shift the blame from the governor. And Chair, because the senator from Marsabit is only a friend of this committee, he must allow this committee to do its job. I have also been a friend in committees where he is a member and is a chair. We don't go to his committees to direct, because this is an obvious conflict of interest. He comes from Marsabit. At the end of the day, the decisions we take must be taken by substantive members of this committee. And as a substantive member of this committee, Chair, I am telling you, we must proceed so that the governor and his team understands, even if they are to come back later, what issues the Senate has flagged. Let them go back home knowing they need, when they come back, to paginate this document, to give documents that are legible. They have originals, let them make better copies. Let them understand that these delays are the ones occasioning this dilemma we are in. Allow the Auditor General to independently contact these banks. This is just one issue, Senator Chute. During the briefing, you were not here. There are 1,001 questions that we need to ask. And we don't do these things for the sake of doing them. We are doing them for purposes of that 8 billion shillings that the chair continues to refer. So I know, Senator Chute, you might be getting impatient, but this is how the County Public Accounts Committee does its work. We will go through these volumes. We are only on issue number 1. We will read all these documents, because some people think they can come and hoodwink this committee by dumping documents on us. We are not any other committee. We will read these things. And we have to show the county governor where he has gone wrong, so that next time we have a conversation, it flows. We say, yes, this thing was done this time, enough sufficient time was given, it was not done for purposes of this meeting. That is the process of audit. I go through this audit myself as an accounting officer at ODM. I do this.
Stop it there, because when you mention ODM, Chair K will be jittery.
No, I will not do that. I wish I would have attended funeral in Narok where Sifuna was. But the point I'm trying to make is, what happens if 1.1 remains unresolved? Because, Chair, you need to give a ruling so that if it remains unresolved, if the client comes back, we don't need to reopen. We go with the answer as is now.
What I would propose,
because 1.1 remains unresolved.
Issue number 1 is on cash and cash equivalents. This is actual money.
Yes.
This is actual money.
Correct.
It's extremely important.
Correct.
But issue number 1 has got 2 legs. There's 1.1 and there's 1.2. Let us deal with that 1 in totality. 1.1, 1.2. Already I can see in support of 1.2, you have got 1.5 reams of paper. So, can we move to 1.2, then we'll now take a view on cash and cash equivalents, whether it has been fairly presented. So, we move from 1.1 with those reservations that we have made. Let's go to 1.2.
Chair, I seek your indulgence.
Governor?
Yes. Kindly guide us on who is to certify these documents, kindly.
Governor, do you have a county attorney in the...
I have.
Ask that question to the county attorney.
No, why I'm asking that kindly is because